Good day, everyone. Thank you for being with us here today. I'm Trishaline M. Serna and I'll be your presenter for today's topic. We will be focusing on the proper procedures for filling, reading, and emptying test measures or calibrating buckets. These procedures are crucial for ensuring accurate measurements and effective calibration of fuel dispensing pumps. Let me walk you through the outline of today's topic. We will start with the overview of the calibrating buckets. Next, we will cover the types of calibrating buckets. Third one is the proper filling of calibrating buckets. Then the proper reading of calibrating buckets. And we will also discuss our department circular, the DC 2017-11011, also known as promulgating a revised rules and regulations governing the business of retailing liquid fuels, specifically section number 21, which covers the issue of under-delivering in dispensing pumps. And lastly is the proper emptying of calibrating buckets. Under the DOST, or the Department of Science and Technology guidelines, all test measures must be conditioned by wetting and draining them with the fuel products they will measure. This process ensures that they are free from contaminants, which could affect the accuracy and reliability of calibration readings. This procedure also is only required for the initial test and is not necessary for future tests or subsequent deliveries, provided that the bucket remains in good condition, meaning it is free from damage, bulging, rust, and other issues and deformities. Here are the parts of the calibrating bucket. First two are as follows: the adjustment screw and the calibration seal. The adjustment screw is used to fine-tune the accuracy of the equipment. It allows for precise changes or calibrations to ensure accurate readings. Next is the calibration seal. It confirms that the equipment has been tested and calibrated. So it is placed in the hole below the adjustment screw. So the first one end of the sealing wire is placed in the hole and meet the other end, and after that it will be sealed. It will be sealed in order to avoid unnecessary adjustment or unauthorized adjustments. So the seal indicates the calibration year of the bucket. So for the exact date, refer to the calibration certificate. The graduation scale plate. So in this portion, it provides the detailed measurement increments for accurate volume assessment and calibration, so ensuring reliable and precise readings. Every calibrating bucket is equipped with a designated serial number for unique identification and easy tracking. Lastly, the calibration sticker provided by the accredited calibrator together with the calibration certificate. The calibrating bucket is designed to hold 10 liters of liquid, which is useful for standardizing and ensuring measurement accuracy in calibration processes. And additionally, the bucket requires annual, meaning yearly recalibration by a calibrator accredited by the Philippine Accreditation Bureau under the Department of Trade and Industry, whether the calibrator is from the private or public sector. Lastly, always use buckets that is valid. So with a valid calibration certificate and an expired calibration certificate. The dilapidated or defective bucket. Recalibration by an accredited calibrator is required if the bucket undergoes repair or is suspected of being inaccurate due to dents, bulging, or other issues. Like for example, on the picture shown on the slide, each of the pictures are no longer appealing from our perspective. So the first and second photos reveal rusts, which can affect the fuel quality during calibration. The third photo shows a bent calibration scale plate, making it too difficult to read the measurements accurately. And lastly, the fourth photo depicts a broken glass cylinder on the top portion, which can lead to inaccurate measurements, also leaks, and other hazards. Therefore, recalibration is necessary not only to address these specific issues, but also to rectify any other problems that could compromise the accuracy and reliability of the fuel measurements taken by the bucket. We are now in the calibration certificate of the calibrating bucket. The certificate shown was issued by the Department of Science and Technology. A calibration certificate is an essential document that verifies the accuracy of the instrument and confirms its adherence to established standards. The calibration certificate contains the following key details. The date of calibration. The date on which the calibration was performed. Next is the serial number. It is a unique identifier assigned to the bucket. The calibrated capacity, which is 10 liters. The bucket's calibrated capacity is 10 liters. It is the maximum volume that a bucket can hold. And in the remarks portion, remarks number 2 indicates the delivery time of the calibrated bucket, and number 4 specifies the recommended date for the next recalibration. Please take note that each branch of a gasoline station must have its own designated calibrating bucket, test measure, or prover. Borrowing equipment from other branches or dealers is not advisable. Next, we will cover the types of calibrating buckets. Types of buckets based on the material type. First is the galvanized steel. Second is the carbon steel. And third is the stainless steel. Galvanized steel is the most commonly used type of bucket. It offers a balance between cost and corrosion resistance with moderate maintenance needs, making it a durable choice for accurate measurement and calibration in various conditions. The carbon steel is strong and cost-effective, ideal for precise measurements. However, it is more susceptible to rust and corrosion, so requiring proper maintenance and protective measures are necessary to ensure longevity and accuracy of the bucket. Third one is the stainless steel. It is highly resistant to rust and corrosion, so I can say that it is the best material type of bucket, so making it an excellent choice for accurate and reliable measurements in various environments. Its durability and ease of maintenance further enhance its suitability for calibration tasks. With these types of buckets, the choice of material you select is what matters. Now we'll go to the 4 types of buckets graduation scale. So the graduation scale is a measurement marking on a container or bucket that indicates increments of 3 milliliters graduation scale, 10 milliliters graduation scale, 12.5 milliliters graduation scale, and 20 milliliters graduation scale. This is a sample of a 3 milliliters graduation scale, which provides precise volume increments of 3 milliliters. Next, is a 10 milliliters graduation scale that provides volume increments of 10 milliliters. The third one, and the most commonly used, is the 12.5 milliliters graduation scale with precise increments of 12.5 milliliters. Lastly, we have the 20 milliliters graduation scale, which provides precise volume increments of 20 milliliters. Following that, We will discuss the correct procedures for filling calibrating buckets. So in the illustration shown, when filling a fuel into the test measure, ensure that the dispenser's nozzle makes contact with the neck of the test measure, or the calibrating bucket or prover. These contacts ensures proper grounding by directing static charges safely to the ground, reducing the risk of ignition and ensuring reliable operations. We will then cover how to correctly read measurements from calibrating buckets. To determine the accurate measurements, always read the graduation mark at the lower meniscus. It's because it reflects the true liquid level, while the upper meniscus can be distorted by surface tension, leading to measurement errors. This is due to the nature and how liquids behave in containers. Reading at an eye level ensures accuracy by preventing perspective errors of the observer. Alternatively, use cards or rulers to provide a clear reference and assist in obtaining accurate measurements. Now let's walk through an example of reading a calibrating bucket. First example is a 12.5 milliliter graduation scale. The level of the fuel is halfway through the 6th and the 7th levels below the 0 mark. So just by multiplying 12.5 milliliters to 6.5 scale, the reading is negative 81.25 milliliters. Next example is a 3 milliliter graduated scale. The level of the fuel is in the 18th level below the 0 mark. So just multiply 3 milliliters by 18 scale. The reading is negative 81.25 milliliters. So the third one is a 10 milliliter graduated scale. So the level of the fuel is in the 12th level below the 0 mark. So just multiply 10 milliliters by 12 scale. The reading is negative 120 milliliters. 20 milliliter graduated scale. The level of the fuel is in the 3rd level below the 0 mark. So multiply 20 milliliters by the 3 scale. The reading is negative 60 milliliters. All examples shown are read on the lower meniscus because it reflects the true and accurate liquid volume level. And now, we will move on to the standards and under-delivering that govern the calibration process. Always remember, when calibrating with the prover or test measure, ensure it is at the 0 level or exactly at 10 liters. If it is not, recalibration is necessary because it is the amount the consumers are paying for. Accurate measurements protect consumer interests, ensure regulatory compliance, and uphold integrity of the service. Under the Department Circular 2017-11011, Section 21, fuel dispensers must not underdeliver by more than 50 milliliters per 10 liters. So even though there is a tolerance value of negative 50 milliliters, dispensers should be accurately calibrated to measure exactly 10 liters or 0 milliliter error. Testing involves filling a 10-liter test measure with fuel and measuring it 3 times at various flow rates. So these 3 rates are as follows: the fast flow, the medium flow, and the slow flow. So if ever there is already a value of the 3 flow rates, the average of it is the final delivery, and then use it to verify whether the measurement is exact 0 ml or exact 10 liters, or if it shows over delivery or under delivery. So here's an example of under-delivering using a 10 milliliters graduation scale prover. So let's use variables to represent different flow rates. X for fast flow, Y for medium flow, and Z for slow flow. Now let's substitute the values for each variable and calculate the average. The average is negative 78.33 milliliters, which indicates under-delivery. So what will we do if there is under-delivery? So number one, we post an out-of-order sign, then padlock or seal the dispenser nozzle to ensure that the nozzle that under-delivers cannot be used until recalibration is completed. And also, an out-of-order form will be issued and must be completed and signed by the Treasurer's Office and to be submitted to the Department of Energy together with the calibration certificate of dispensing pumps from the Treasurer's Office. So showing you a sample computation for the gain or loss from under-delivery. The table shows the year 2020 reportorial report from Hinguog City from an independent liquid fuel establishment. Then the second column shows the sales of fuel product yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily. But we focus on the RON 95 or also known as the premium gasoline. And the third column is the annual gain and loss per under delivery. The gain of the player and the loss of the consumer. So what will we do? First is we'll calculate the annual under delivery in liters. So annual under delivery in liters, this one. Oops. Yeah, the annual, what happened? So the annual under delivery annually in liters. Then we'll multiply this amount by the cost per liter, which is 61 pesos, to determine the financial impact. So this gives us a total of 181,963 pesos, which is really a big money. It represents the significant amount gained by the fuel establishment or dealers or owners and the corresponding loss to consumers. So there's no consumer protection with that. So that's why every calibration should be set at 0 mark. Finally, we'll address the proper techniques for emptying calibrating buckets. We are now in the procedure of proper emptying a calibrating bucket. First step, start by pouring the contents of the bucket. This should be done steadily over a span of 30 seconds. This procedure ensures the bulk of the liquid is poured and removed efficiently. Second, after pouring, allow the bucket to drain for an additional 10 seconds. So this step is essential to let any remaining liquid fully exit the bucket, ensuring that no residue is left behind. And lastly, during both pouring and draining, maintain the bucket at an inclination of 10 degrees from the vertical. This slight angle promotes effective draining and prevents any residual liquid from remaining in the bucket. So by following these procedures, you ensure that the bucket is properly emptied, which helps maintain measurement accuracy and operational efficiency. So next, using a metal funnel is one of the best and safe practice when transferring fuel into an underground tank enhances safety, efficiency, and regulatory compliance. So adhering to this practice helps reduce the risk of spills, accidents, and ensures adherence to safety standards. Finally, the next slide features a video demonstrating the proper techniques for emptying a calibrating bucket, including pouring, draining, and maintaining the correct inclination. Let's watch it now. To wrap up, we've covered calibrating buckets, including types, handling, and maintenance. Thank you for listening.